All right, what's up, everybody? It's KZ here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm back from my hiatus. I wasn't able to, make videos breaking down the fights, give my picks out, just because I wasn't able to analyze and go over everything properly as I would want to make a video talking about everything. But now, we're in the new house. We're good to go. So let's just go ahead and get right into it with the first fight here. We got Shauna Bannon versus Sam Hughes. I'm going to be picking Sam Hughes here. Shauna Bannon has decent kicks, decent footwork, but I just don't see her moving around and keeping Sam Hughes off of her for 3 rounds to win a decision. Definitely don't see her getting a submission. I mean, Puja Tomar, that's armbar defense was really just terrible. She was standing up, getting out of it, and then she puts herself back into the armbar, just essentially giving Shauna Bannon that armbar. Sam Hughes can grapple. She's faced much better grapplers before than Shauna Bannon. And, I just see her pressure being too much for Shauna. She's battled through adversity against tougher fighters, like I said, and get the job done. She's like a female Darren Elkins. She's tough. She's got a good gas tank and ground game. So, yeah, I can see her constantly pressuring Shauna Bannon and getting her down to the ground and just dominating via wrestling. That's going to be the pick here. Sam Hughes getting it done via pressure wrestling. Moving right along, we got Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Andreas Gustafsson. This is a sick-ass fight. Both of these guys are just berserkers, essentially. They're marauders. But yeah, no, Andreas Gustafsson, I think he's going to be able to get this done. Rinat Fakhretdinov usually tends to fade in round 3. He gets tired. He got 10-8'd by Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos in round 3. Nicholas Dalby had a pretty good round 3 against him as well. And he got that robbery win over Carlos Leal that we saw in Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia, one of the two. But yeah, they're in Paris now, so we're not going to have the biased judging. I think Andreas Gustafsson is going to be breaking him down with constant pressure and clinching, similar to what he did to Chaos Williams. If Renat's going to win, I think he's going to need an early finish, just landing a solid, huge right hand early, making Gustafsson pay for his recklessness as he crashes forward and just, landing the really hard shot, just to get a TKO, or maybe he just wraps up a submission, a club and sub, but that's easier said than done. The longer the fight goes, I think the more it favors Gustafsson, Gustafsson's tenacious style. I see him winning a decision or a round 2 or 3 TKO. I don't see Rinat having enough wrestling or striking success to win a decision here. So yeah, the pick is going to be Gustafsson. I think that he gets it done just via tenacious, relentless pressure, clinching, punching, anything you can do to get Rinat tired and just work on him in the close range. So yeah, Brad Tavares versus Robert Bryczek. I'm going to go Brad Tavares here. I watched Robert Bryczek's most recent fight in the UFC against Ihor Potieria. I was not very impressed. He made Potieria look like a world beater, and then that's been Poteria's only win in the UFC. Other than that, Ihor Potieria has been getting fucked up by everybody else besides Robert Bryczek. He's like just a power, like a heavy-handed dude. He's got solid. He doesn't even have solid hands. He just throws wild, sloppy punches. So I feel like Brad Tavares is going to be technical enough to pick him apart from the outside, most likely to a decision since he hasn't gotten a KO since 2018. But yeah, I wouldn't put money on Tavares. Tavares' last 2 wins are post leg break Chris Weidman and Gerald Meerschaert. We've seen how terrible Gerald Meerschaert has been looking, especially against guys like Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. And yeah, man, I don't know. Like I said, Robert Bryczek made Ihor Potieria look like a world beater. So yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that he's going to be able to get this done. But I mean, if he's going to, I think it's just going to be by KO. Brad Tavares got KO'd by Bruno fucking Silva. So neither one of these guys is reliable, but I'm picking Tavares here to get the job done against the heavy-handed Polish guy. But moving right along, we got Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. Both guys tall as hell for the welterweight division. Sam Patterson coming in 6'3", Trey Waters coming in 6'5". It's the battle of the long and lanky fuckers. Both guys are massive for welterweight. Couple of bean poles here. But yeah, a lot of Trey Waters' success comes from the fact that has a massive height and reach advantage, and his wins are over, bottom of the barrel welterweights, Josh Quinlan and Billy Ray Goff. Billy Ray Goff is all right, but the guy's 5'10". Trey Waters was absolutely massive in that fight. He still couldn't finish him. Both of those fights went to decision. So yeah, I see Sam Patterson neutralizing the physical advantages that Water has and having success on either the feet or the ground. Waters likes to hold his lead hand low and lean back with his hands down, and I see Patterson catching him as he backs up. Trey Waters isn't gonna be able to take advantage and exploit his physical gifts here against a guy that's equally or almost equally as long and lanky as he is in Sam Patterson. So yeah, I see Sam Patterson getting this done here, either by decision, potentially a club and sub. I haven't really been impressed by Trey Waters from what I've seen on tape. So yeah, we're gonna go Sam Patterson here to get the job done. And Harry Hardwick versus Kauê Fernandes. I don't have my notes in order here, but we got it. But yeah, Harry Hardwick is a tough, gritty guy, but Kauê is going to be able to beat him with his speed and athleticism. I see him styling on Harry for as long as the fight lasts, honestly. Kauê's very fast, very slick, got good striking. As long as his cardio doesn't fail him, I feel like he should be able to piece Harry Hardwick up for as long as this lasts, like I said. He's going to be landing hard shots and hurting Harry, and, he should destroy him with the speed and the counter shots here. Harry Hardwick, he's a tough guy. He's not like – he's the Cage Warriors champ. I've seen him take big shots before and keep fighting, but Kauê Fernandes is a different level of being in the UFC. And he's looked good in his last couple of fights that we've seen him in. Let me go ahead and just give it a little refresher because I know he fucked up Garam. Okay, and then Muhammad Yahya, which isn't like a very he beat Muhammad Yahya. Muhammad Yahya's kind of shit. But he made Garam look terrible, and I think that he's going to be able to do the same thing against Harry Hardwick coming in here on a short notice, replacing Fares Ziam. Because Fares Ziam had to pull out due to his grandmother passing away. So rest in peace to Fares Ziam's grandma. And I think Kauê Fernandes is going to be able to get this done against the game, but not very super athletic Harry Hardwick. So yeah, moving right along, we got Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. I had never heard of Delija before I heard about this fight. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Marcin Tybura and Ante Delija have actually fought before in the promotion M1 Global back in 2015. Delija had suffered a nasty leg break off of a checked leg kick in the first round, like what happened to Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. But yeah, during that fight, Delija was looking good, landing solid punches. Tybura was taking them well. But that was a 29-year-old Marcin Tybura. Now he's 39. He's kind of on the decline. I feel like he lost to McParkin. That was kind of a robbery. McParkin definitely should have been able to get the job done in that second round with the ground and pound, but he just had freaking very minimal power in those ground and pound shots that he was landing on Tybura. So Delija, if he's in that position, I feel like Delija can actually ground and pound. He's gotten ground and pound finishes before. He fucked up Renan Ferreira, that big old 6'8" dude in the PFL with ground and pound. So yeah, I think that Ante Delija is well-rounded enough. He can wrestle. He's not like one of these heavyweights that's just going to get easily taken down, be flat on his back, and not be able to get up. I fucking hope not. But because we've seen Tybura do it before, but I don't think that he's going to be able to do it against Ante Delija, who's coming in looking for revenge after his fucking leg got snapped, his tibia. But yeah, Ante Delija is well-rounded, has heavy hands, and I see him overwhelming Tybura and potentially even getting a first-round stoppage, if not just, going to decision. But I see him winning the striking exchanges on the feet. And, I think that if Tybura is able to survive the early onslaught, his only chance is just getting Delija down and working his ground game late after he gasses out, just beating him up. But, I don't see him surviving the early onslaught. And if he does, I just feel like Delija can hang with him for as long as the fight lasts and get this done before, because Delia's won decisions before. He's not just one of these guys that goes out there and he gasses out in a round and then he's fucked. He should be able to get this done against Tybura, who is aging on the decline. And Tybura's most recent wins have not been the most impressive. It was that kind of very close controversial decision against McParkin. And then against Johan Atageniz, the kickboxer, he just got exploited on the ground by Tybura because he can't really grapple. But yeah, I'm going Delija here. Moving right along, we got Oumar C versus Brendson Ribeiro. I think, both guys have good long-range striking. Oumar C does seem a little bit more fast and powerful. I'm sure that he's going to come in with some improvements from the Menafield fight. I picked him against Menafield, unfortunately. He was fucking running away looking scared in that fight, which, you never like to see. But Brendson Ribeiro, he's not, as much of a monster as Alonzo Menafield, So yeah, I feel like that was a good learning experience for Oumar Sy. Ribeiro kind of telegraphs his strikes, and he's coming off of a fight where he took some damage from Murzakanov. He got stopped, and even though Sy sold C or Sy, I don't know, whatever. I'm just gonna go back and forth. Sy sold against Menefield, so hopefully he doesn't sell again here in Paris in front of his home crowd. But yeah, Sy throws faster. Ribeiro throws harder. He loads up more on his shots. So I feel like Oumar Sy is going to be able to counter him well for as long as the fight lasts. I don't know if he's going to push for a finish. If he's going to, he might be able to drop Brendson Ribeiro, who showed that he's not the most durable guy. But yeah, I think that C should be able to get this done here. Either by decision, KO, submission. He's got plenty of different finishes on his record. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, I'm taking Oumar Sy. Another heavy favorite again. He was a heavy favorite against Alonzo Reutefield, but shit. I'm picking him again, but if this motherfucker loses, I'm never picking him again. All right, so we'll see. Let's go ahead and move right along. We got William Gomis versus Robert Ruchała. But yeah, William Gomis likes to fight off of the back foot, pulling his opponents into counters. Great footwork. He waits for his opponents to throw, and then he counters and escapes laterally. Solid takedown defense, versatile striking with good kicks and straight punches. He'll occasionally blitz forward with his opponents as they overcommit, or just kind of stand there and wait. He'll just like, okay, you're gonna wait, let me fucking attack you. He's willing to wrestle if he gets clipped on the feet. He's coming off of a competitive decision loss against Haider Amil where he just got out-dogged. He just got walked down, just pushed around, bullied around. And, that loss hasn't necessarily aged very well since, Haider Amil got knocked the fuck out in his last fight. Amil was able to relentlessly pressure forward, not give Gomis any opportunity to, settle into the fight. And Ruchała, he was the interim featherweight champion at KSW, and he only lost to the double champion, featherweight and lightweight, to Saladin Parnasse. And this guy is a motherfucker, dude. Oh my god, I've watched tape on this into the Ruchała fight. He's like a mix of William Gomis and Haider Amil, because it's like he's long and fast, but he's just was pressuring forward like a monster. And surprisingly enough, within an hour, I guess, like coincidentally, Saladin, William Gomis actually lost his first pro MMA, his MMA debut to the same guy, Saladin Parnasse, the only guy that Robert Ruchała has lost to. So Ruchała was able to drop Parnasse in the first round after dealing with heavy pressure early. Parnasse kind of wore him down with striking pressure in the early rounds and then wrestling pressure in round 3. I really don't think that William Gomis is as good as Saladin Parnasse. I really don't. That fight was, at 145. Parnasse moved back down after becoming the lightweight champion, and he unified the belt against Robert Ruchała. He TKO'd Ruchała in round 4. Competitive, fought similarly to what William Gomis fights like. He's a very comparable skill set to Gomis. He's a long and rangy striker in his own right. Very good footwork and good wrestling. He's taken guys down before. He's gotten ground and pound stoppages. Fast punches and kicks, good head movement. He likes to combo his round and front kicks like his teeps with spinning back fists and spinning back kicks. I've seen William Gomis do the same thing with countering a kick into a spinning back kick. But I really do think that Ruchała can get it done. He's fast, dangerous striker that can match Gomis where he's best. I feel like he should be able to spun goofy. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, no, I think that Ruchała is a live underdog here. I think that he's actually really good. William Gomis obviously is a great fighter. He's very slick and technical, but Robert Ruchała is very slick and technical as well. So I feel like, dog money plus 220, it's a pick that I'm willing to take, and it's a fighter that I'm willing to bet on. This isn't fucking gambling advice. If you guys bet on Ruchała and lose, it's not my fault. But I'm just telling you what I see. If you bet on him win though, it just fucking let your boy know. But yeah, no, I'm going Ruchała. I think that he's going to be able to get this done here. I respect his skill set, and William Gomis, he's good, but he's not like a unbeatable world-killing destructor. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he's beatable. I think that Robert Ruchała can get this done coming in on his UFC debut. I respect his skill set, and I'm hoping for a win here for him. And then we got Axel Sola versus Jesus. Reese McKee. Yeah, I was about to say Losene Keita. That fight got called off because Losene Keita missed weight. You know, I was going to pick Keita, but oh well. That fight's not going to happen, unfortunately. But yeah, Axel Sola versus Reese McKee. I think Reese McKee is going to be able to get it done against Axel Sola, who's moving up in weight. You know, Axel Sola is usually fighting at lightweight. He's a big lightweight, but Reese McKee is a big welterweight, and that's a considerable difference. You know, Reese McKee had a competitive fight with Chidi Njokuani, went to split decision with a powerhouse in Ange Lusa. You know, those guys aren't the best fighters in the division, but it's not like Axel Sola's out there killing a bunch of great guys either. You know, he's kind of fighting cans on the regional scene. So I think Reese McKee should be able to get this done. He's tough. He's a big dude, and he's definitely going to be the best guy that Axel Sola's ever fought. In the one draw that Axel Sola has on his record, he got dropped fucking nasty in the first round. So I'm not very impressed by Axel Sola. He's undefeated, but you know, who's he really fighting? Reese McKee has only been TKO'd twice. One of them was by Hamzat. So I mean, does that even fucking count? You know, I don't really think so. And then before that, it was outside of the UFC early on in his career. So yeah, I think that he should be able to hang tough if Axel Sola lands good shots early and then wear him down as the fight goes on. I think that he could get him out of there as well, just landing good hard shots. He's a clean technical striker, and I think that he can expose Axel Sola and use his height and reach and size to his advantage here. So yeah, moving right along, we've got Balaji Oki versus Mason Jones. Mason Jones is very hittable, man. He's very hittable. He gets hit a lot. He was getting fucked up by Jeremy Stephens. He just had to hold on for dear life to win here. And Jeremy Stephens boxing. You know, Balaji Oki is an MMA fighter. He's definitely been training his wrestling. Not unlike Jeremy Stephens. You know, I see Balaji Oki hurting him and keeping it on the feet. You know, Mason Jones went life and death with Jeremy Stephens, who was only boxing at the time. And yeah, man, I just feel like he's going to be eating big, hard shots as long as the fight lasts. He's tough. He's a tough fucking son of a bitch. So maybe Balaji Oki's not going to finish him, but I see Balaji Oki winning a decision here against the very hittable Mason Jones. And, you know, Oki, he's a big, strong dude. He's got good striking. He's very fast and powerful. Mason Jones is powerful, but he's not the fastest guy. So I think that Balaji Oki is going to be able to get this done here, either by KO, which isn't as likely I see as a decision. Mason Jones, if he's able to employ his ground game with enough effectiveness, he could probably get a submission. You know, we've seen Balaji Oki get submitted by Chris Duncan before, but I don't think that Mason Jones is as good as Chris Duncan. So we're going with Balaji Oki. I think that he should be able to keep this on the feet and hurt Mason Jones with big, hard shots. But yeah, Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. Paul Craig's striking is terrible, and so are his takedowns. You know, he doesn't have good wrestling, and his only chance of winning is getting this fight to the ground. And you know, I don't think that he's going to be able to get Modestas down. And just from that, you know, his only chance of winning is just a fluke-ass triangle choke, and Modestas knows that as well. I don't think that Modestas is going to let himself get triangled like a dumbass. You know, he's going to keep this on the feet, piece Paul Craig up. And I see him getting a KO with little resistance here, honestly, like either first round, second round. I'd be surprised if Paul Craig is able to hang to a decision with Modestas Bukauskas, who's shown that he's a dangerous, powerful striker. So, you know, he kind of had that robbery win over Kutalaba, but, you know, Kutalaba is a lot more dangerous on the feet than Paul Craig. Paul Craig! So, yeah, we're going Modestas Bukauskas to get the job done. I think that he's going to be able to get rid of Paul Craig in the first round. KO relatively easily here. But yeah, Mauricio Ruffi versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis. I think Mauricio Ruffi is going to style on Saint-Denis, who just hasn't been that impressive. You know, he got some good wins early on in his career after getting destroyed by Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos. Nearly got murdered in the cage. The commentators were like, "Stop the fight!" But yeah, no, I don't think that BSD is going to be able to get this done against Ruffi. If he does, I'll be fucking shocked, and I'll be pretty pissed because, you know, Ruffi's in a lot of my parlays. But yeah, I feel like Ruffi is just going to style on this dude. He's going to kill this idiot, and I don't know why I said that. But, but yeah, I think that, you know, BSD isn't that great. BSD, quite frankly, in my opinion, kind of sucks ass. You know, at least at the elite level, he's a very sloppy striker. You know, he's a tenacious, tough guy. He's going to come forward. He's going to try to knock Ruffi out. But I feel like Ruffi should be good enough, should be slick enough to get out of the way of those sloppy shots that BSD throws, counter him effectively, and he should be able to KO BSD. Maybe just, beat the fuck out of him to a decision. But, I see Rufy KO that's the pick here. Rufy, he's got very, very, very technical, slick, effective striking. He's very fast. He's got good power. And, BSD, he's just very hittable. He's maybe, if he wrestle fucks Rufy, I'll be surprised, because Rufy is coming from a team out of the Fighting Nerds. He's training with Kauê Borralho. He's training with John Silva, probably training with Carlos Prates. I feel like he's just got all the advantages in this fight in terms of technicality. And, BSD might just land a big sloppy punch and knock him out. The fluke factor always exists in these fights, but I don't see it here. I think Rufy gets it done, and I think that he makes BSD look terrible. But, yeah, now we got Nasruddin Imavov versus Kauê Borralho. I'm going to be picking Kauê Borralho here. Imavov was getting taken down and controlled against the cage for significant portions of his fight against Jared Cannonier. And, man, that Jared Cannonier fight, that was an absolute bullshit early stoppage, man. I was watching tape last night, and I literally got angry again at what an absolute dog shit stoppage that fucking was, dude. It was even worse than I remembered. Fuck Jason Herzog, fuck you fucking idiot. That was a terrible stoppage. You should be ashamed of yourself. But yeah, Imavov, I feel like he's overrated because of his KO over a diminished Israel Adesanya. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good striker. I'm not saying that Imavov is bad or anything, but it's like everybody's like, oh, he KO'd Izzy, bro. He KO'd Izzy. Who KOs Izzy? Yes, it was an impressive win, but, that was an Adesanya that's not the same as he was before. So, I feel like Kauê Borralho is going to be able to outdog Imavov, wear on him in the clinch, pressure him, have success with a couple of takedowns, and he'll be competitive enough in the striking exchanges to win this fight. I see this going to decision, and I think Borralho's grappling pressure and output will be enough to win this fight. The calf kick was very effective for Cannonier against Imavov, and I feel like Borralho will be able to utilize that same weapon in the calf kick effectively. So I feel like Borralho is going to outdog him. Borralho actually finished Cannonier, but just Murugilata didn't stop the fight. He had Cannonier much more hurt, damaged, and stunned than Imavov ever did in their fight. Cannonier landed more strikes on Imavov in 4 rounds than he landed on Kyle in 5 rounds. I think that, Borralho is going to be able to get this done. And he had Jared Cannonier equally as hurt as Imavov did in round 4 in round 3, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I phrased that very oddly. But yeah, Borralho rocked Jared Cannonier in round 3, had him wobbled, kind of dropped him a little bit. And if that was Jason Herzog in there, Kauê Borralho would have gotten a round 3 TKO, because, that's about as hurt as he was as when he got stopped against Imavov, which was such a fucking terrible stoppage. But yeah, those are my picks. Let me go ahead and show you guys what I got going on. I mean, I had Pitbull versus Keita here. I think that Pitbull was definitely going to lose. I thought that Keita was going to be able to utilize his striking and keep it on the feet for as long as the fight lasted. But yeah, no, I think that we're going to go with Kauê Borralho here. And let me just go ahead and show you guys my picks. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, just a quick little recap. We've got Hughes. I picked her by KO, TKO in round 2. I'm just assuming ground and pound, but it's definitely could go to decision. I'm not going to tell you guys that, yeah, Sam Hughes is going to get a finish, definitely. These are just my topology picks. Gustafsson, I got him KO, TKO round 3. I don't have any submissions here. But yeah, no, I think that Gustafsson is going to be able to wear Rinat Fakhretdinov down and get him out of there late, or just win a dominant decision. Fakhretdinov might win round 1, but I see Gustafsson wearing on him and either getting him out of there or just fucking him up as long as the fight lasts. Tavares decision, Patterson decision, Kauê Fernandes, KO, TKO round 2. I feel like he's going to be landing good hard shots on Harry Hardwick, stinging him up a little bit. Harry Hardwick is tough, so I think that he should be able to survive a round. But Kauê Fernandes, too slick, too powerful, too fast. I feel like he's just going to too good of footwork. I feel like he's going to be able to get Harry Hardwick out of there. Delija, KO round 1. Side decision, Ruchała decision, McKee, KO, TKO round 2. Blagioki decision, Justice Pekauskas, KO round 1. Rufy, KO round 2. Borralho decision. So that's what we got going on, guys. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm going to try to be a lot more consistent with the content now that I got the move done. You know, I'm in the new place. I don't have to deal with all this moving nonsense, construction bullshit. So, you know, that's what I got here for UFC Paris, everybody. May the MMA gods bless your parlays, and may all your bets hit, unless they're going against mine, then may they not. But yeah, no, shit. May the best man win in every single fight. May the best lady win. I don't think that Shauna Bannon's going to win, though. But, you know, we're going to get this done. We're going to see what happens with the results of this card, and I'm looking forward to it. We got a bunch of sick fights on UFC Paris. And, yeah, that should be it, dudes. Peace out. Appreciate you for fucking tuning in and hit him with a flex. But, yeah, peace out, bros. And potentially ladies, which I doubt.